ESPN 630.
Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. What's happening? How's everybody doing?
You nice and relaxed?
I'm very relaxed. I was on a boat for a week.
I was going to say, that was actually my number one question / comment / concern with you gone last week was, Bram on a cruise?
Yeah.
Doesn't he get squirrely with germs and stuff?
Real squirrely.
And so that was actually, I didn't really...
First thing I did when I came back was take a COVID test. First thing I did. And you know me, it wasn't like I was hugging people on that boat.
Oh, yeah,
I was distanced.
What's funny is, like, I just knew you were going on vacation, and I didn't put it together, and I was like, I would have busted your balls a little more about that on Friday. Like, you're thrilled to be on a boat, stuck on a boat in case something happens.
It turned out to be a good deal for my kids.
Okay.
They enjoyed it.
All right.
Like, they had freedom. They could run around this boat. They could eat whatever they want whenever they wanted.
Right. Yes.
And that made getting off the boat easier because then they weren't complaining about the excursions. We went to Alaska. That's what we did. We went to Alaska. I had been to Anchorage once. Actually, we did a little excursion in Juneau, and one of the guys who was doing the excursion referred to Anchorage as Los Anchorage. As in, like, it's like Los Angeles there, which is funny in its own right because it probably has 1/50th of the population.
Yeah, right.
But I understand what he was saying because Anchorage is not the most beautiful place of the last frontier. The rest of it was pretty amazing. You're sailing through a painting.
Right. Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. I can't even really describe it. The best part of the trip is the inside passage into Glacier Bay, which is a big national park up there, one of the biggest national parks, and you get to see the glaciers. Mm-hmm. It will depress you to see how much ice is not there.
Yeah.
They park rangers who do tours there and get on the boat and talk about everything that you're looking at, make a big point of that over and over and over. Like, this is happening. Look at this. Yeah. This didn't look like this. Let me tell you where the water was. Let me tell you where the ice was. Let me tell you what. And so that part's a little depressing because, you know, you do realize we are all going to die, you know, like, so we're all going to melt. So that part's a little depressing, but the rest of it is you hit these certain points in it and you're in a painting. Yeah. It's the wildest landscape you've ever seen. It's beautiful. We got very lucky. It was like 65 to 70 and sunny every day.
Look at that.
Up there. We went salmon fishing.
All right.
Gold panning.
Oh.
Touristy gold panning.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Met the sled dogs.
All right. There you go.
Did that.
All right.
Did this crazy train ride in a town called Skagway, where it's got a great backstory. Okay. There's this train that goes up a mountain, basically.
Sounds like there's like a Netflix show up there.
Oh, it should be the backdrop of a movie. It is amazing. You start in this little town, Skagway, which is like a little port town, obviously. Right. They wisely kept they preserved all the old buildings. It was like it was part of the gold rush.
Got it.
So it was one of these old stops where people came in and they preserved the old town so much so that they pointed out how much prostitution was happening in the town. Not some, a lot.
Got it.
Yeah, a lot. So that was an interesting conversation. Anyway,
had to explain all that.
Yeah, they did a beautiful job kind of preserving it all. It's all tourism now, you know, but like they preserved it all, and then you go through the whole story of like why all the settlers came in and the gold rush and all that stuff. And because they go through this whole story where they tell you how, you know, people came to make their riches and get the gold. They tried to take the gold to Canada. They had to go up this steep mountain to get to Canada. The horses all died, you know, on their way up there.
Joy.
Yeah. So they built a train, and it's actually kind of like a, you know, engineering marvel. Like when you go up this train, you're like, I can't believe someone built this, especially when they built it. And it's wild. You go up this wild elevation, basically on the side of a cliff, and you get to see all these areas. And that was really a highlight of the whole thing. That was very cool. They'll even let you stand outside on the train and, you know, kind of take it all in. So that was really cool. Then we went to some little port called Icy Strait, which was like extremely rural Alaska. It was like kind of like, we don't have anywhere else to take you type of thing. And just get off here for 20 minutes. Yeah. Just go away. So we did that. And then we came back, and because we went through Canadian waters, I think there's a rule that they make you stop and port in Canada to dump some of your money off to the Canadian government, basically.
Guys, a little
so we went to Victoria, which is a little north of Vancouver, on Vancouver Island, and that town was gorgeous.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'd never heard of it, and it was beautiful. And we rented bikes and rode around the city. And, because it's part of the monarchy, there's all these kind of like British elements to it and all these like wild palaces there. I think it might be a seat of government for British Columbia, maybe. I don't know. It seemed that way. And they light the whole thing up at night. So it's like July 4th every day there. Playa. So that was pretty cool. Met a lot of people from this area on the boat. I was surprised.
Okay.
Ran into a few people from Fredericksburg. Ran into a couple people from Herndon. I couldn't believe it.
They pumped about the new stadium. They pumped about the Commanders coming.
I didn't bring it up because I was on vacation.
You didn't want to.
Didn't want to talk about it. On the just in case. I got one guy who was very excited to meet me because he's in security and thinks I'm famous and wanted me to stay in touch with him in case I had a need to have my limo protected or whatever.
Good to know.
Yeah, and
so when you take your limo to Dumfries in 5 years.
Archer was pumped about that part. He was like, "Oh man," he's basically like, "I didn't know," and I'm like, "Not that guy." Not that guy. He's like, "Do you need his services?" And I'm like, "Don't tell him no, but I don't."
Got it.
At least currently. Currently, I'm not a Kardashian. Currently.
Right.
Not Beninati.
Yeah,
not yet.
No,
Beninati needs
yet.
secure. Yeah, he needs security.
That's right. Yes.
Beninati needs security.
Benati's dressed in a suit everywhere he goes, too.
Everywhere he goes. The bottle of wine he's carrying, $700 minimum. That's the one he's carrying to the dinner he's going to.
That's
Me?
right.
Nah. I'm going out and having a barbecue sandwich.
This was not the. Have you ever seen the clip of Dax Shepard talking about him and Kristen Bell and their kids? Like their kids just got brought up to a certain point that I don't know how old they are, but they just at some point somebody said, "Oh, like you're Dax Shepard," and she was like, "How do they know you, Dad?" And he's like, "Well, I'm famous," and she's like, "You are?"
Yeah. I have a much lower level version of that.
Of course, but it's still that bewilderment of like, what?
There is
people know who you are?
Yeah, like my kids know what I do, especially when I started calling the games. They know what I do. It doesn't occur to them that thousands of people are listening to it at the same time and that it's a big deal.
Right.
Like very, 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 none of that like connected. And then when after I started getting noticed here, then they were like, "What is happening?" Or like I think it was like one time that like the show. I think when we initially started, I think they advertised a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was up on the screen.
Yep. It was on during preseason
Cap
games.
One, I think.
Yeah.
It was up there, and I think we were walking down Chinatown once, and they were like, "What?" They like looked at it and they're like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "I'm modestly famous in this area."
Modestly famous.
Yeah, I'm not Jim Vance. No, but I'm a lower tier of that.
You're on the list.
A number of strangers know who I am. That's it.
That's a good way to put it.
A number of strangers know who I am, and I sometimes don't know which ones do.
Right.
Right. You'll be surprised every once in a while.
No, of course. The follow-up to that was great, though, by the way. It was, what's Mom do for Kristen Bell? Dax Shepard's like, she's more famous than I am.
Well,
what?
Yeah.
That was great.
Speaking of other Daxes, do I even want to talk? Yeah, well, I was like, what did I miss? And missed something there on that one.
That was... Should we just explain that to the audience for anyone that doesn't know what's going on with that?
From what I can tell, and I don't want to talk a lot about this, I've never been part of anything like this. From what I can tell, he went to BYU with Zach Wilson. He was his leading receiver.
Dax Milne.
Dax Milne.
Is who you're talking about here.
Apparently is now dating Zach Wilson's ex-girlfriend.
That's right.
It is insinuated that she's doing it to get back at Zach Wilson, who then she called out publicly.
It's worth noting Zach Wilson and, when I didn't know this, Dax Milne seem to be best friends.
Were. Yeah.
So
that'll end the friendship. And then the ex-girlfriend mad about being blasted about all this.
She was being accused of hopping to one friend to another on Instagram, then shot back suggesting
it is. Well, I mean, this is a different conversation, but it is telling that the guy gets a high five for that, and the girl gets labeled something terrible.
My girlfriend and I had a discussion about
when
this.
When they both did the same thing.
She was very adamant of why is he getting all the praise today?
Right.
Because what the comment said...
We have not grown up to the guy is equally as disturbingly terrible for doing that as the woman is.
We were skipping it. We skipped over the detail for those listening. The ex-girlfriend of Zach Wilson commented on this picture, "You should go ask him about sleeping with his mom's best friend."
That's right. She outed him
Zach Wilson
for cheating on her, and that's why everyone's insinuating, well, she's now with this other guy to get back at him, but who knows motivations here.
That's right.
Anyway,
A lot of BYU Cougar jokes.
a lot of Cougar jokes. I thought all of that was not supposed to happen in Brigham Young land. Is it all of that off? Every single part of that is off the table.
I felt that as well, but they're probably
sleeping with your mom's best friend. How does that not break 58 rules in the Mormon culture?
They're not in school anymore, so I mean,
they're still Mormons, though, right?
Yeah,
they went there in the first place.
I don't remember how this works, man.
I don't know any of the rules anymore. None of the rules really apply.
I went to Catholic school, and I was yelled out if you did anything. Right. God hated you, and then ninth grade hits, and everybody's doing everything.
Now you're breaking 7 of those rules every day.
That's right. Yes.
They vary. Yeah.
Varying degrees. Yeah. Yes.
I had shrimp last night. Yeah. So, I bust up the rules constantly too.
Right.
They were delicious, by the way. Anyway,
but yes,
no comment on all that. But that is one of the things I noticed that I missed during the week. That happened.
It did only hit yesterday. That's
that was quite a love quadrangle going on there.
That'd be called a love square. But yeah, I don't
also,
know.
If you are curious, Zach Wilson's mom is young or youngish. Youngish. Yeah. I don't know how old she is, but she looks like she's in her 30s. Yeah. She looks young. She's probably had him pretty young.
Right.
Because he's only, 22, something like that.
Yeah.
She looks like she could be maybe 40, something like that. So I'm sure her friend is also youngish. This isn't, Zach Wilson's not dating a 60-year-old.
Also, just
as far as we know,
Zach Wilson he's the starting quarterback of the New York Jets.
Meantime,
that's a big deal.
The double standard, once again, people are high-fiving him for this. Sleeping with his mom's friend. Yeah! What are you talking about? What if, I don't know, Sue Bird was sleeping with my dad's friend? How would you feel about that? Would you be high-fiving her? No.
Probably not.
No, of course not.
Probably not.
My dad's friend would also be 86.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was going to say, there's different age.
Right. But that's important when you say sleeping with the mom's friend. How old's the mom? I mean, that needs to at least be clarified.
There's also questions. Was it a one-time thing? Is it something that's reoccurring?
I'm telling you, I knew it from day one. The Wilsons should have a reality show.
Yeah, they absolutely should.
Quarterback of the Jets and that mom, there should be a reality show going on.
I agree, but the Jets are going, we're not putting her on anything with Hot Mike because of some of her viewpoints.
Who knows?
On certain things.
Yeah. Which, again, also break all those Mormon rules, but whatever. Whatever.
Is he Mormon, though?
I don't know.
Do you have to be Mormon to go to BYU?
Probably not, but it seems like a weird place to go if you're not.
I feel like that's a question we need answered because BYU could just recruit who they want.
They could, but that would seem odd if you recruited somebody who wasn't, considering that's basically the established university of that religion.
I don't know any great Mormon quarterbacks, so I'm just saying.
You do. His name is Zach Wilson.
I'm just saying.
His name, Zach Wilson.
Because isn't that the deal with BYU? If you're Mormon, you go there for free or something?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
I
had neighbors who were Mormon. I should just text one of them and ask.
I mean, I assume that most of the players at Notre Dame are Catholic.
But not necessarily.
I would assume that. I would assume the majority are, though. I have a hard time buying. Well, I guess some of those players at BYU aren't Mormon. I guess they are, but the rules on that campus are extremely strict.
I do know that. But I was going to say, you can't make that a requirement. That seems...
No, you can't make it a... Well,
that seems illegal.
Yeah, you can, well, Georgetown's a Jesuit school, and it doesn't... Not everybody there's Jesuit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm thinking Zach Wilson and Dax Milne, not Mormon.
No. Get Mitt Romney to comment on Zach Wilson and his mom. He says about that. All right, let's see.
Like an anchor man. Cougar Watch is on.
What else did I miss? Oh, Baker got traded. I missed that. Missed that during the week. Baker Mayfield got traded to Carolina.
Right.
They also said they're not getting rid of Sam Darnold, which is going to make for a real. And they drafted Matt Corral, so this is going to be a hell of a training camp for them. That's Call of the Wild right there. That's the most interesting. Even though no one believes in any of them yet. Right?
Yeah.
It's the most interesting battle. Darnold, Mayfield, Corral vying to be the starting quarterback on a coach who's going to get fired after this year no matter what. That's amazing.
To me, the biggest thing on that is, wouldn't you just want to play Corral at some point this year? And that's not going to happen now?
Baker Mayfield and his people probably said to them, okay, Because he had to take a pay cut to do it.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
He didn't have to do that.
Right.
He could have just kept holding the Browns' feet to the fire, right?
Yep.
I am sure that he said to them, there is no chance on God's green earth that I am going to accept this trade to you and take a pay cut, and you're going to tell me in late August that Matt Corral's the starting quarterback of this team.
Right.
Because then what happens? Now, would I trust that organization to keep their promises? I wouldn't.
No, not at all.
So, Baker, bad move, dude. I don't know that it seems like Seattle didn't want him that bad.
No,
but I would, if I were him, I would have way preferred that situation to Carolina's, because Carolina's comes off to me as crazy town.
Clearly, though, that was the only thing keeping them moving him to Carolina, was keeping Seattle's name in, and then Seattle was like, all right, stop it. We're not interested.
Right, we don't want
We're rolling with Locke.
Right.
Or Geno, because apparently Geno is actually the one that's going to start. But either way, like, stop it. We don't want him. We're out of this. And then they finally went for a fifth rounder.
I don't know. There's a part of me that's very surprised that they don't want Baker Mayfield for a year. I've seen a lot of conspiracy theory people saying that they're going to get Jimmy Garoppolo, but he needs to be traded. And why would San Francisco trade him to Seattle?
In division, yeah, it's a weird one.
They're going to do that.
Also, I've just thought Seattle's trying to tank. They're trying to get the number 1 overall pick, reload.
Could be.
Just going to try to take their shot.
Yeah, which is, well, as you've noticed, they haven't signed DK Metcalf to anything yet.
Right, correct.
So why haven't they done that?
Right, exactly.
But all along, I was like, they should trade him, because why have a $25 million a year wide receiver when you don't have a quarterback and you don't know what's coming in next year?
Right.
Go get somebody will give you a first round. Someone gave a first round pick for A.J. Brown. You'll get a first round pick for that guy.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
And not have to pay him. And as good as he is, okay,
right.
Your team stinks. There's nothing he's going to do for you.
Warren Sharp, who was on the show on Friday, actually had a great tweet last week. He said, this is what the Panthers have traded away for their quarterback room. A second-round pick, a third-round pick, 2 fourth-round picks, a fifth-round pick, and a sixth-round pick to get Darnold, Mayfield, and Matt Corral. You could have probably traded all of those in a first and gotten any quarterback you wanted. That's not nailed down.
Yeah, no, they...
you could have traded an entire draft and just gotten it over with.
They come off like the way we were 20 years ago. Like when Dan Snyder first took over the team, they just made a lot of decisions that didn't make sense. It only made sense to them, right? And it all makes sense to them in some bizarre way. And every time I read things like fire Matt Rule, it's his fault, I'm like, I don't think so.
Right.
That's not his fault. Mm-hmm. He didn't ask for Cam Newton to be brought back. There's no way.
Remember when that happened?
There's no chance that he sat in the room and said, yeah, trade away everything for Sam Darnold. No, there's no way he said that.
Right.
That's the owner telling them these are the things he wants them to do.
That's right.
Or the GM's inept.
That's right. Or that, yeah.
One of the two.
Could be that.
So we'll see. All right, so he got traded.
Yes.
Let's see, what else we got? My boy V got traded. Oh.
V's for victory, yes.
After all of that. After all of that.
Yeah.
Now they got rid of him, I would assume, to find a veteran goaltender, right? That's the reason for doing this?
The quote? I don't want to misconstrue what Brian McClellan said on Friday when he got traded, but Brian McClellan said something along the lines of, well, we were looking to move one of them, and that just happened to be the one that got moved. Supply and demand. To which I said, wait.
What's that mean?
Does that mean nobody wanted Samsonov? Did you just say we traded?
Or they had a high value on him?
Maybe, and that's what I think is
higher
actually
value.
That's what I think is actually the case. Because even Montreal was interested in him last year. We heard about that.
They want a high value,
and we also everybody knows.
And Vanacek, they can't ask for a high value,
right? And everybody knows if you listen to us, Samsonov has a higher ceiling, has always had one.
Yes,
and V is what you got there. So
V is a backup.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
So I thought actually getting
seems like a backup that they liked a lot too.
Considering they traded 2 seconds for him last year, they got a second and a third. They had to trade a second with him. Whatever, I'll take it. Fine.
Listen, this is one of those asterisk people that have come through over the years, and none of it makes any sense.
Yeah, it's true.
They exposed him. He got taken. They traded to get him back a year later to trade him away again. Makes no sense.
Remember, they weren't. Yeah. He wasn't even supposed to be on the roster because they signed Henrik Lundqvist.
That's right.
And then Henrik Lundqvist had a heart problem.
Right.
And then he was thrusted into the backup role and actually ended up being the better one of the two. So
I have more to talk about the Caps in a bit. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
What else did I miss? Dan Snyder said that he will testify to Congress willingly by video on 2 dates at the end of the month that happened to occur 2 days before the end of session.
That's right.
I got to hand it to him. He's pretty evasive.
Good luck with that. That's what that is.
And then, what was interesting was I had a couple legal people explain to me why offering to do it willingly puts Congress in a bizarre bind about the questions they can ask.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So there is a caveat to this. Not only is he just, if the idea is he's just come around to, well, he doesn't want to get subpoenaed. Well, if you do it willingly, there are some limitations in how you can conduct the interview. If you get subpoenaed, that's a whole different situation.
All bets are off.
All bets are off.
Got it.
Which is why I think what Congress was trying to say initially when they said, you're better off doing this willingly because a subpoena is a much more binding and awful experience that you're going to have with us. So my money is on he still isn't going to do it. But I think part of it is going to be because he rammed it up against the end of them being in session before their summer break and then the midterms that come up again.
Yeah.
And my understanding actually is that the head of the committee, Carolyn Maloney, she's being primaried right now, and it is possible she's not even going to be the candidate to retain her seat.
Oh, God. All right. Well, there it is.
Right. So he's running out the clock a little bit here.
He did run out the clock.
Well, not entirely yet. They could still take him up on this at the end of the month. If they do take him up on this at the end of the month, my gut says it still won't happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Fair enough.
But, so that's the latest game of chicken is I'm going to do it at a time that's completely inconvenient for all of you people, but does fall into the calendar that you want. And they can't say no to that because if they do say no to it, then he's off the hook, right? But if they say yes, which they will, something's going to come up. That's what I think is going to happen.
Got it.
I will spend a lot of time talking about Trent Williams later. I'm not going to do that yet.
They're going to spell Dan's name right.
Don Snyder. Don Snyder. SNYDRE. I'll talk about Trent Williams later. I'll spend some time on that. And I will spend some time also on all you people who freaked out that RG3 needs to be included in a list of legendary players that have come through here.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you people? Okay, what's wrong with you people?
Right.
You all hated him as of 3 weeks ago. What happened?
There's a whole sect of the fan base that
feels like he's wronged?
That just forgot how much of a headache he was. That's what I think.
He had an incredible 12 games.
Yeah. No. For some reason,
that's it.
For some reason, too, I'm seeing a lot of people say you can't tell the story of the last 10 years without including him. And I said, that's not the point. They're saying the 90 greatest players in the franchise's history.
And it's not just the players, it's personalities, too. Joe Gibbs never played here.
Yeah, right.
Jackie Cook was never played here.
But, guess what? Kirk Cousins is on this list, too.
Yes.
He was better than RG3.
Uh-huh.
We're not putting them both in, I think. But I think we are.
I know people don't want to hear this, but if you go look up all-time records.
Oh, yeah. Kirk's got a couple
Kirk Cousins is top 5 in quarterbacking in this franchise's history.
Yeah.
And had he stayed for 1 to 2 more contracts, would have passed people like Sonny Jurgensen.
Yes.
I don't know. Sammy Baugh, too, probably.
Yeah.
Which is really not saying that much, considering he played in the 30s and people passed the ball 10 times a game.
Right.
But still.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is very high on the all-time records list here.
Knowing this fan base, they're going to vote RG3 in and not Kirk Cousins. That's what's going to happen.
I'm going to spend an hour that day not understanding. This will be one of the first times that I'll be going... That and Red Wolves will be the two things where I'm like, we're just not on the same page about this. We're just not, and we never will be. We'll never be on the same page.
RG3 Red Wolves jersey.
The angry sect of the Commanders fan base, I'm typically, while I may not advocate on a lot of your behalf, I agree with many of your grievances. The Red Wolves thing, I never understood. And if you vote RG3 into the 90 greatest personalities that's ever come through this organization, we'll never see eye to eye on that. Ever.
I'd agree with you. I'd agree with you on that.
Let's see. Last thing. I heard Taj Gibson's coming here. Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
I have breaking ESPN personnel news for you before we go to break.
Is it RG3 to the Monday Night Countdown, or is it different?
Matthew Berry, his last week at ESPN is this week.
Get out of here! What? Does it say where he's going?
This is Matthew Berry tweeting literally as the show started. Here's a sentence I never thought I'd write. I can confirm that after 15 amazing years, I'm leaving ESPN. When I came to the company in 2007, fantasy football was a niche of a niche, and ESPN was way behind the market leader.
Yep.
And now, many years later, I'm so incredibly proud of all the work we have done together to bring fantasy football into the mainstream and specifically make ESPN the leading game and content destination for fantasy players everywhere. I feel truly blessed to have worked alongside countless talented, dedicated, and passionate colleagues, supported by management who understood that fantasy sports meant to our fans. Speaking of our fans and millions of fantasy players worldwide, I never dreamed this could be a career, blah, blah, blah. On a professional level, ESPN gave me a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to write and talk fantasy sports on every possible ESPN platform. On a personal level, ESPN is where I made lifelong friends, met my wife, and started my family. I am forever indebted to ESPN. Matthew Berry. So he does not say where he's going next, and that's.
I will tell you where. I will give you a good guess next. I'll give you. Don't tell me if you know.
He didn't. He just said, "I'm really excited about the future, but there will be plenty of time to talk about that before the season. For now, I just want to take some time to reflect and celebrate on the 15 years. Thanks for the support.
I will give you my oracle prediction for Matthew Berry next. I am actually. I know what's happening.
All right.
Bram Weinstein Show, ESPN 630, Sports Capital. All right. Matthew Berry just announced he's leaving ESPN after 15 years. Want me to tell you where he's going?
Yeah. Where do you think he's going?
Gambling outlet.
Gambling outlet?
For a lot of money. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
That's my second. That was my second choice.
I think DraftKings and FanDuel feel too established to me for this. Trey Wingo has been at Caesars. Caesars doled out some money to him. Mm-hmm. Kenny Mayne. I could see where a group like that would look at Matthew Berry and go, we could probably transition a lot of fantasy players over to our platform and then offer them sports gambling opportunities to go along with it.
That's my number 2 pick.
What's your number 1 pick?
Amazon.
Amazon
goes, your fantasy, we're going to put your videos online on all of on Prime Video. It's going to be the only place
we'll
we
incorporate it into the pregame show on Thursday night.
Yep. I think Amazon's a prime candidate only because they have the infrastructure. You're going to have your podcast, and we're going to put that only on the Amazon, whatever their platform is for listening.
You can do whatever you want.
Maybe. But
5 shows if you want them.
I think Amazon's almost too dumb if they don't get him because they could use it to their advantage unlike anyone else. I'm with you. Gambling's number 2 for me.
Okay, I think you might be right. It might be Amazon.
Because I think Amazon's just going to go crazy. We're going to put you on everything. Well, there's
going to be like, you're going to get a bazillion eyeballs on this because, yeah.
It also would be a good thing to do on Thursday, either after the game or before the games. Start looking ahead to what because that's what everyone's going to be watching. What you can start looking forward to, waiver claims, all that crap.
Yeah.
I think Amazon would be fools not to get them.
Yeah.
But gambling sounds about right, too, if it's not them.
ESPN, there are a few people that built massive cottage industries. Stephen A. Smith became a famous person for the hot takes, right?
Yep.
Very famous for it. A lot of SportsCenter anchors became very famous for their ability to, do highlights. Mm-hmm. Matthew Berry and Mel Kiper Jr., though, took something that most people thought was really nothing and turned them into massive industry. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that Matthew Berry built fantasy. He didn't.
No, but
there were places like RotoWire and places like that existed that were extremely niche that hired him. He happened to be a very good writer, turned into a very good broadcaster.
Yep.
ESPN, he's right when he puts in that statement, I had to convince them to do anything with this. He's right. I remember, when I first got up there, because he's a huge Commanders fan.
That's right.
He and I, hit it off immediately, and I also played a lot of fantasy sports. I always liked him. They didn't let him do nothing, man. He was on the ESPN news shows I was on for 5 minutes. They thought nothing of it. Nothing.
Right.
It was just clickbait for ESPN.com. Then his column got popular. Then they finally did that ESPN2 show.
Yep.
And they were shocked by the ratings of it. Literally surprised by the ratings of it. At one point, it was close to NFL Countdown. The ratings were close. And that's when the world was his oyster because all of a sudden they realized there's a lot of money in this. A lot. And he and Mel Kiper Jr. really built, for being extreme nerds in a very niche thing that became mainstream. The NFL draft should not be what it is.
No.
But it is.
Of course not. Right.
But it is. And Mel Kiper, similarly, great writer, nerd for it, knows it, and turned into a very good broadcaster.
Right.
Matthew Berry, same thing. He's actually a great writer. He actually was a Hollywood writer before he got into sports writing. He wrote in comedy rooms out in L.A. He's a great writer. And then he got into this, and obviously he's, knows it like anybody.
Of course.
He became the Jim Cramer, basically, of fantasy, And so, all right, so you go Amazon. I think you might be right. I thought for sure this is a gambling outlet looking at him going, can we convert, first off, could we steal a bunch of leagues off of ESPN or CBS's platform and start them on our platform if we could do that, right? Secondarily, then we can offer sports gambling to go along with it.
Right.
So do they pull season-long leagues off of a platform like ESPN.com because people will follow Matthew Berry? I don't know. So maybe Amazon, you might be right. Amazon might be looking at that. I felt like that was the all-time customer acquisition grab by a gambling outlet. They look at him and go, if we get all these leagues to put their leagues on our site, we have them there for all the sports betting opportunities that are available to them in daily fantasy and all that stuff. So DraftKings and FanDuel feel too established to make the investment in Matthew Berry because I'm thinking you're going to be surprised how much money he gets. So it's got to be someone who's...
I don't think I will, actually.
Yeah. Stephen A. Smith's going to get pissed in a minute.
Right.
I will guarantee you Matthew Berry will be making at the minimum $5 million a year and probably closer to 10 depending on how many people they think that he can bring over, especially if it's a gambling outlet. If they can move, I don't know what the number is of season leagues over because of him.
Well, that was
it's an exponential amount of money that these companies are going to look at. But that's a bet. It's always a bet when you do something like this with a personality. Are they really going to bring an audience like that with them? We'll see.
That was my question, though. What does Amazon, or who do they own for fantasy purposes?
I don't know.
Because
maybe they want to start their own.
Which, in that case, if they are, and then you say Matthew Berry has helped us design whatever, and all of a sudden I'm listening because we've all played Yahoo, we've all played ESPN, we've all played anything that's available.
Modern,
right? And it's and if it's Matthew Berry saying, "Hey guys, I helped design
There's
this,"
a lot of room too.
I'm in.
The best part of fantasy is the draft. Right. None of these sites do anything cool around the draft. Right. They're just platforms
it is what
to
it is.
put names in. You've got to go and make the draft experience something.
Right.
Could you have a draft room that's like a real draft? There's probably there's a lot of room in fantasy, I think, to innovate and make it more experiential for people, and maybe you would be part of something like that.
So that's
this feels like, though, this has got to be the money from a gambling outlet, because the gambling outlet sees if they could get people to come over to their site, they see gambling money coming with it.
Sure.
All right, so we'll see. We'll see if you're right. You're going Amazon.
Yeah.
I will call a gambling outlet, unknown gambling outlet. MGM, Caesars would be most likely the ones that I think it would be.
Could totally see it.
Maybe. I wonder how Barstool's doing.
I don't look at Barstool getting him. I don't think he would be a good fit for Barstool either. I don't see that happening.
I agree. I don't think he would be.
He would be lost in the shuffle.
Maybe.
He'd be lost in the shuffle. People would not.
I think the question is, though, because they've gone heavy into the betting side of things. Yeah. Is that lagging? And if it is, maybe they see something like this as, okay, maybe we could bring some of these fantasy people over, and that would be helpful.
I look at it as Amazon only just because I feel like the integration there would help all of their platforms for someone like me and you that consume all of this content. But we never look at Amazon as one of those platforms for most of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I get all that stuff for free. I get their music for free. I get all that. I don't use it, though, because I have other things that I'm more comfortable with using it. And so I'm just saying, they put Matthew Berry on some of those things, though, and I'm going, all right, I'll download that.
That's right.
Amazon Audio app, whatever the hell it's called. I'll download their streaming service or whatever they're going to put them on. All of a sudden, I'm intrigued. And if I'm saying that, I can't be alone in that.
That's right.
And so that's what I'm saying. I think it's Amazon.
If with your Prime membership, you get access to all of this stuff.
And I just don't use it.
Right. And there's a lot of young men who don't get Amazon Prime, and all of a sudden, 1 million guys order Amazon Prime, then he's worth his weight in gold when that happens.
Correct. Exactly.
Right, because then they got $79 million. The reason why he's not going to be back at ESPN is somebody's offering him an amount of money that ESPN went, excuse me?
Right.
And then I'm sure there were a lot of meetings and they went, we can't pay him.
That's right.
If we pay him $10 million a year, what do you think's going to happen with Todd McShay? And what do you think's going to happen with all these other people?
And they're going, we're still going to put you on at noon to 1 leading you up to the games. You're just going to be on this platform, and you can pick whoever the hell you want as your people or whatever. That's right. So.
Ooh, so who's going to be the lead fantasy person? Field Yates, I guess, now.
Yes, so, which is
Field
fine.
Yates.
Yeah, Field's fine.
They'll probably hire someone else to come in and work with him.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow. Good for Matthew Berry. He just hit the jackpot.
Good for him.
I will see where it is, but he just hit the jackpot.
Few people have had a better 5 years than that guy.
Listen, he was, and I can vouch for him on this. They wouldn't give him the time of day. They thought it was a joke.
Right.
They were like, nobody, they're like, oh, it's fine, it's fine content for us to have.
Yeah, of course.
It's not valuable in any way.
We love fantasy. Everybody loves fantasy.
He built something that became enormous.
Yeah.
Enormous. He's also very talented.
Yes.
And a very nice guy.
He's a nice guy, too, yeah. I was
really
going to say,
nice
a few
guy.
times I've talked to him.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. All right, congratulations, Matthew.
That guy's also just, I don't want to discount it, inserted himself into the biggest Marvel movie of all time, in Endgame, because of being friends with the Russo brothers in fantasy.
Yeah.
That also has the amazing story of getting into Jay-Z's fantasy league somehow.
And calls him Jay.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the best. Talk about just falling into amazing scenarios.
Who knew?
He's in the highest grossing movie of all time, and maybe with the best modern rapper of all time.
That's right.
Or the greatest all time, if you
he
think that.
is like Jim Cramer, though. Like regular people who, don't play a lot of fantasy sports know who he is.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
It's amazing. All right, I want to talk about my boy V. You can tell me who this guy is we drafted. The first-round pick whose name is very long. Very long.
If he makes it to the NHL, tied for the longest name of all time in the NHL.
Very long name. And then you got drafted by the Ducks.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that next. Bram Weinstein Show, ESPN 630 Sports Capital. Callow just showed me a promotion that the Bowie Bay Sox are going to be doing on Friday night, where Jimmy J.J. Walker from the famous show Good Times, that came out, it's almost before I can even remember, really.
Right. Yes.
I mean, I remember a little bit of it. Florida, the dad whose name I don't know, Jimmy J.J. Walker. There was a sister in it, I think.
All right.
Right.
It was all before I was born. By years and years and years.
I have good feelings about that sitcom. I don't remember a thing about it other than he used to say Dynamite.
That's right.
He's going to show up to do a meet and greet at a Bay Sox game, of which you'll also get a bucket hat.
That's right.
Like the one apparently he used to wear in the show Good Times, except for the fact that his bucket hat says Dynamite, and that one says Bay Sox on it.
That's correct, yes.
Whose idea was this?
Don't know. To be fair, though, a Bay Sox bucket hat, pretty good giveaway, though.
I do like that. If you could fold up the edge and it says Dynamite underneath it.
Cursive, like the Bay Sox font. That'd be pretty good.
Be pretty good. Who was in the meeting
I don't know
that was like...
Who's that appealing to?
You know what Bowie needs? Jimmy J.J. Walker.
Who's explaining...
Who's probably 65 to 70 years old now.
Who's explaining to their grandkids who this guy is? That's a lot of explanation. That's all I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, why are we doing this? You just got to trust me. Jimmy J.J. Walker's going to be there.
Got 60 seconds of airtime on our show. So, I mean, good on you, Bowie.
Y'all win.
I know a few people in that organization, so good on you.
What's next? Yeah. Blair from Facts of Life? Who's on the list? We should do this all day. Let's go.
I mean, you'd assume if he wasn't dead, Gary Coleman would probably be on all of these things.
Gary Coleman?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But except that, he'd probably try to fondle you or something like that.
Yeah,
that's the bad part.
True. Yeah.
He's not a...
Also dead, too, though. So
so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Who's not dead?
Who's not dead? That's a great way to start things off.
That's how the meeting goes. Can we get Gary Coleman? He's dead.
All right, we're going to sort
what
the
about
list.
the girl who played Kimberly then?
Sort the list by
Dana
talent,
Plato.
By talent fee, hit most recent. There it is.
Yeah. We're going to get Lou Ferrigno to show up dressed as the Hulk.
Oh, God.
And he's going to do a meet and greet for 2 hours. I forgot to mention, there's a buffet, too. There's a buffet.
A VIP seat. That's if you buy a VIP
Why wouldn't you if you're going to this?
I don't know.
If you're going to this and not buying the VIP seat, you've made a mistake.
That's fair. If you're really there for that, yeah.
I want to know how many people want to go to that for that reason.
I just want to know the people that are going to show up.
Does he throw out the first pitch?
I got to. Has to.
Do people look around and go, who?
PA announcer goes, "Dynamite, first pitch."
Yeah. Yeah. And then everybody's like, what is going on?
There are people that are going to show up, though, because this is a normal Friday night. Go, who? Wait.
Does the guy
Jimmy
do
Walker?
Does the guy do the crazy calls? Does he do them? Or what team does he do?
He's Fredericksburg. He's with the Fred Nats.
Could he go up for Bowie on Friday night just to do their game?
Don't think so. Don't think so.
It'd be a good night for it, though.
Right. Now, you know,
Up here with Jimmy J.J. Walker.
Right.
Every strikeout, dynamite! I don't even know why he used to say that. That's how little I remember of this show.
Wasn't it his entrance? Like when he popped into the scene?
Maybe.
I don't know, man. It was before I was born.
I want to rewatch an episode of that.
Good luck finding that somewhere.
It's probably on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Well, there's 8 million channels that no one watches on cable. Somebody still has that in syndication.
Probably, yes.
Okay, all right. Tell me about this guy who we drafted who's got a really long name.
That would be. I'm sorry, I've got to look it up here because I honestly,
I wasn't even going to try to pronounce it.
I had actually the enunciation down on Friday. That would be. I don't know. Here, let me give you a clip real quick. Give me. Let me give you a clip here real quick though of what the TSN analyst said about him right away here.
Washington Capitals select from Omsk, Russia, Ivan Miroshnichenko.
Miroshnichenko.
Well, there you go. They figure they got a guy that maybe can get a player over here. You know, they got someone named Alex Ovechkin that might have some, power. What's this player like, Megan Chaika?
I think he's the most talented player in this draft class.
What?
Yes, yes. He is, the most widely projected prospect and definitely a dark horse. And part of that was he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and missed a lot of this season. So we don't have a lot of data on him, but he excels in driving to the net in the offensive zone, carries the puck to scoring areas, and his goal-scoring ability, puck recoveries, plays an aggressive style, causing turnovers. And he doesn't need many quality shots. He capitalizes. He scores. You want this player on your team? I will say now, I think he'll be a superstar in the NHL in 5 years.
Who's that?
That is Megan Chaika. She's in analytics and economics on, I guess, that's
economics
on TSN. Yes, on TSN.
She's seen this guy play before.
Apparently, data scientist, hockey analytics, and economics.
Data scientist, economist.
Yep.
Who goes on TSN to talk about hockey.
The draft, yes, and the prospects.
So she's like, who's the dude on who does the election night thing for that guy,
crazy guy in the khakis,
Kornacki.
Yeah, right.
See, that's their version of him.
Yes, exactly.
And she said he's the best player in the draft.
Right.
Where did we pick?
The 20th.
Well, how the hell did that happen then?
Because he missed the time with
because of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Right. He missed all this time. People had concerns about his health.
I would think so.
But it was just that.
What about the insinuation that it's hard to get a Russian player over here? Is it?
That insinuation, I think,
what are you talking about? There's a lot of Russian players in the NHL.
So that was something that I actually thought going into the draft was going to work to the Caps' advantage. They went organization to organization, apparently. Like, everyone had their own different set of rules. And this organization probably not concerned about it because they have 3 Russian players. 4 Russian players, actually.
What do you mean set of rules? Like some teams won't?
Some teams rank the Russian players on either their own list, or they kept them in, or they took them out of their list. Because if they can't come over to play, they want.
Oh, if they can't come over. Yeah, okay.
That's why they were. So some players would be ranked higher if that was a bigger risk.
So some of these guys you can't get over here?
There's concern, but honestly, like
Alex Ovechkin plays here.
Right.
If there was ever someone that they were not going to let go,
right,
be him.
And guess what? He's going to be the one to make a phone call to whoever needs to make a phone call to and say, let this guy play on my team. But there were certain teams that were saying, we're not going to draft those guys, or we're ranking them lower, or that was what the talk was going into Wednesday and Thursday night.
If I buy his jersey, they're going to charge me more because of the letters?
No, you're fine on that.
Okay.
No, you're fine. So, yeah.
All right.
All
right, the Economist likes him. Cool.
Look, I think you as well, the top 6 here is log jammed. He can take his time if he needs to take longer time to get back into playing shape and all that stuff. And
it's kind of log jammed.
In the top 6, it is.
Your boy Backy.
Sure, that's one position.
Okay.
But other than that,
who else?
Top 6 is Kuzi, Ovi,
Wilson ain't playing till the middle of next year.
Yeah, but that guy's not playing right away.
You don't think so?
This guy's 2 years away. Yeah.
Oh.
No. Yeah, he's not playing right
She just
away.
Said he's the best player ever. Why can't we
Superstar
play
potential.
him tomorrow?
Superstar potential.
He's going to Hershey? That's what's happening
no,
with him?
he'll probably play in the juniors. He'll play in the juniors for a year.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he's
now I got to pay attention to the juniors? Oh, Lord. I can't do that.
You don't have to pay attention.
I won't.
I update you on.
I also don't watch the Bay Sox games.
Nor should you watch the Bay Sox.
Jimmy J.J. Walker going to go to the juniors game with whatever his name is?
Certainly not his.
I got to we got to shorten his name. I can't
Miroshnichenko.
Come on.
I love it. They're just going to call him Miro.
Yeah.
M-I-R-O. It's going to be Miro.
I need something because that's too much. Even John Walton agrees with me. He's like, come on.
Our Caps radio thread was like, this will be an easy one on the podcast in the preseason.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of your boy Backstrom, too, McClellan said last week that he expects him back this year. And
at some point.
Yeah. Don't know.
Well, he's not going to retire because he's not going to give up the money. So he'd be a fool to give up the money. So he has to go through, the surgery, whatever that thing was, hip shaping or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
Then he's going to have a long recovery because it's hip surgery. And then we'll see where he is.
And literally not a single player has ever come back from this. So,
yeah, well, I mean, I was hoping he would do the team a solid and just retire, honestly.
Nope.
Well, he's not going to do it for this year. If
Correct.
he ends up not playing this year, then there probably will be a hard conversation with him. But he's got a contract. He holds the leverage.
That's right. Yeah.
So
good luck. Good luck to Backstrom on that. I don't know how much I believe McClellan when he says that, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's see. The other one was they traded my boy Vanacek.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if I got this right. They exposed him in the expansion draft. He got selected.
I think you have to even start a year before. He was not supposed to be on the team. They signed Henrik Lundqvist.
Oh, right. They signed Lundqvist. Lundqvist had heart
issues.
Heart issue, couldn't play.
Yes.
So out of necessity, they had to bring somebody up.
That's right.
It ended up being him.
That's right.
Not my boy, who's my boy who was there forever, who had the shutout in his first game.
Oh, Fucali.
Yeah, Fucali. They didn't bring Fucali up. No. They let Double V come up. Double V played. Apparently everybody likes him.
Yes.
Likes him.
Coaches love him. Yeah.
Coaches love him. Good guy. Gives up a lot of goals. Good guy, though.
Yeah.
Real good guy.
Great guy.
Great culture dude. Good in the locker room. They expose him in the expansion draft.
That's
Seattle takes him.
Right.
They go back to Seattle, ask to get him back, and trade a second-round pick to get a backup.
2 second-round picks.
2 second-round picks to get a career backup.
That's right.
Back here, mainly because they love him, and they also have no other option.
That's right. Well, they
chose not to have another option.
They don't have faith in Samsonov.
Correct. A year later, after he played at the same level that he did the year before,
nothing
which is
changed.
Totally fine because, hey, that's where the bar is.
Yeah.
They decided now they're going to trade him.
Yeah.
Because they're making room for a veteran goaltender, of which we've been yelling for a year and a half, you need.
They traded him with a second-round pick. To get a second and a third back.
All right, so it's a swap of twos. They get a
they
three.
Basically traded him for a third-round pick and a move up because the Devils' pick was high. It was like 37 overall.
Okay.
So, wasn't they did get significant value on the draft pick. So they're going to get first-round talent at that pick.
This is one of those where you go, I don't pretend to know half of what you people know, but I can tell you that story makes no sense to anybody. That is one of those.
That's Panthers-esque.
What are you doing?
That's Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Right.
And I like saying V for victory. So I enjoyed his presence, and everyone says he's a lovely guy.
That's right. And then he got married a day later.
Oh, good for him.
2 days later or whatever it was.
Okay. So there's that one.
Yep.
And then you got drafted by the Ducks.
Yeah. Ducks 5th-round pick Michael Callow drafted on Friday.
Congratulations.
Got a lot of tweets on that one.
You happy about that?
Yeah, sure. Can't wait to try to find some game use stuff from that guy.
Do you think you could send a note to the Ducks when you're about to play them and say, hey, I'm the producer of the Capitals broadcast. Can we have some fun? would you send me a Callow Ducks jersey?
I'm gonna see if he has to make it first. I need him to make the league first.
Well, if our super genius isn't going to play for 2 years, when's this guy playing?
A while.
Yeah,
he could be a Capital when he plays next. So that's what I'm waiting. That's what I'm waiting for.
That'd be amazing.
I'm waiting to see when he plays and where he plays. And
you're gonna call up your boy Sergey and ask him, "Can I do the interview with Michael Callow?"
That's right. Exactly.
It's a good one.
I will do all of the bits possible with that.
Do you think he'll actually respond to you if you did that?
Hockey players.
Who knows?
Hockey players suck at it.
Not the hockey player.
Hockey player.
Will Sergey respond to you if you made a request as Michael Callow to interview Michael Callow, which I know is a major inside baseball joke, but for the 3 people that know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Luckily, there's some new blood in the PR this offseason, and I think I'd be all right.
He's still the gatekeeper, though, isn't he?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
He doesn't care about Michael Callow whenever he comes up, though.
Yeah.
He cares about the main guys.
Right.
So I think I'll be all right if that happens to be the case.
Got it.
One other blurb I want to get at you real quick. Kevin Weeks, who all of a sudden has now become like Mr. NHL Insider, he tweets out things before anyone else does. Sent out a tweet like an hour ago saying if Evander Kane doesn't sign in Edmonton, would he go down the road and sign in Calgary? Then added, or go to DC, ? Capitals.
Huh. Well, because we tried to get him, right?
Right. Allegedly, we tried to.
Allegedly.
Or at least put the feelers out there, and then I guess the fan base reaction kind of made the organization.
Well, he, unlike Vanacek, doesn't have a stellar reputation.
That's right.
So, Doc Walker would like this. He enjoys having some questionable personalities in the room, thinks it helps everybody out, keeps everybody on their toes.
I'm on Doc's side on this. That guy's a top 6 forward. Ovechkin's window ain't open long.
Bring in all the help you can take.
I'm willing to just
put up with the nonsense if he's going to go crush people.
That's right. Keep him away from Caesars, but
MGM National Harbor's pumped.
Let's just keep him away from all those places.
Well, I mean, what's Ted going to do with his shop? Here's the one area you can't go to, Evander.
I think this is the year, too, they get the actual sponsorship on the jersey. So you could get an Evander Kane authentic Caps jersey with the Caesars logo.
That's pretty good. Okay. Not bad. All right, let me take a quick break. Bram Weinstein Show, ESPN 630 Sports Capital.